Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're continuing this extraordinary run of puzzles we've been covering over the last few days, in which we were basically revisiting puzzles that we should have solved back when they were released, and for one reason or another we didn't, and we've been auditing basically our back catalogue, our list of things that our testers have basically said, yeah, you need to solve this, and we've been finding some absolute gems. Now, today's puzzle is by a constructor called BMEP. Not a name I recognise. It's called Dark Ages Carnival. And the testing reports on this at the time were that this is a stunning puzzle. And I've no idea why we didn't do it. But I'm going to try it for you now. And it's using the X's and V's, which I'm quite keen on for an app, I have to say. Anyway. What are the rules? Let me read them to you. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. So that's normal arrows rules. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. There's only one of those, and not all white dots are given. Okay. An X between two cells indicates that those cells sum to 10. So those add up to 10, those add up to 10, etc. A V between two cells indicates that those cells sum to 5. There's lots of those in the grid as well. And all X's and V's are given. So there is a negative constraint in this puzzle, which is not that usual, at least not in puzzles that we've done recently. So what that means is that, for example, if these two squares, you can see there's no V or X between them. So they cannot add to 5 or 10. And that's all we know. So do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And my initial instinct here is that this must be a colouring puzzle. Because surely there is no other way of starting it. So what do I mean by colouring puzzle? Well, I want to basically divide the grid into low and high numbers. And by low numbers, I mean numbers that can go on V's. 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. In fact, let's just do this. What colour is most associated with low numbers? I would say it is orange. Orange for low. That means blue is going to be our high number. Now, blue will be 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. So, right, okay, here we go. There's an X here with one low digit on it. As these add to 10, that must be the high end of the X. That must be the high end of an X. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We're off and running. Row 4 has 4 low numbers in. So it's got 4 numbers, 4 cells that have to be a 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the rest of this row is going to have to be blue by the power of Sudoku. And now we've got a blue, which it's not that surprising. We've got a high digit in the arrow circle. Okay, that might be. Well, I'm sure it's very useful if you can get this square. I'm not sure how to do that. This is on an X. So as we've got the high digit of the X, imagine this was, I don't know, 2, 8 or something. This would have to be the 8, therefore this has to be the orange square. Right, now look at row 5. Any X is going to have to be divided into a low and a high digit, so there's definitely an orange in this domino. And that's going to mean we've got 4 oranges in the row, so the rest of the digits in this row have to be blue. Okay, now, oh, that one's got to be blue as well. Sorry, I was just thinking about something else though, because I was looking at box 5. Now, there is a negative constraint in this puzzle. So here's a question. Can that be orange? And the answer is no, because if we know that adds up to 5, we know that this and the other orange square in the box add to 5 as well. So we can't put the orange here, because then this will add to 5 and it should have a V between it, which it doesn't. So this square is blue. I don't think we know which of these is orange, but we may do. Now hang on, we've got a blue on the white dot now. I'm not sure what that, I'm not actually sure that does do anything for us. Okay, so, right, but we can do more trickery in box 4 because we've got a V domino here. So 2 of these 3 squares are orange and they add up to 5. So we've got to keep them apart. The blue square will have to play gooseberry because if it didn't and the oranges were together, we should see a V in this sequence, and we don't. So we get more joy there. Now, oh yeah, now column 1. I do love puzzles like this. So column 1, that's an orange and a blue, and that makes 4 oranges for the column, so the rest of the column turns blue. And now what should we look for? So I think the oranges, we have to pay more attention to oranges than we do to blues, is my feeling. So there is 1 orange in here, and that orange mustn't be next to the other orange orthogonally. 3 oranges in this column. Oh, bobbins, I don't know quite what to do now. And it was going so well. Okay. Oh no. Right, here is a simple deduction. That square, because this V here, imagine this was 1, 4. What would this be? This has to be a different colour. So it's got to be, when I say different colour, I mean it's got to be the 2, 3 variant of the V. Now that means that square and that square see every low number. They see 1, 2, 3 and 4. Therefore they're both blue. Now I could do something similar. Look, if I knew these were different, I would know that these were both blue. Do we know what those are? Maybe. What I can see is, imagine that was a 1-4 pair. This cannot be a 1-4 pair now, because if it was, you're definitely going to need V's separating these out. And there's no V's along this line. So whatever this is not. And whatever this is, so if this was 2, 3, that's 2, 3, and this is 1, 4. Yeah, this is good. This is absolutely beautiful. So now, let me sort of fill in some things to show you what I'm thinking. If this is 1, 4, this is 2, 3. Now this domino is also 2, 3, because this square cannot be a 1 or a 4. Now this domino is a 1, 4. And now we have something very interesting going on, because these 2 squares definitely see every low digit, so they must turn blue. And we've got the question about where the 2 and the 3 go in box 3. Where should we put the 2 and the 3? And the answer is, I think they've got to go in those 2 squares. Because if this square is a 2 or a 3, it will be orthogonally next to its friend. And it mustn't be. There's no V's in here. So those 2 have to be orange. And therefore that's blue. That's really beautiful, isn't it? It really is class setting, this. Right, now I've got to remember these are just sort of placeholders. These are not the correct digits. Or well, they may be the correct digits, but I don't know that they are the correct digits. So that would be 2, 3, 2, 3. That's 1, 4 under this. I just want to see if I can see it. Yeah, here's another little trick. What's this square? This square is going to have to be blue because it sees 1, 4 and 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So what do we do next? It's not obvious to me, I will tell you that. It is not obvious. I actually think we've done quite well so far. Do I know anything about this domino? I mean, I know there's an orange in one of its cells, and it would be lovely to know it was here, but I don't think I can... I don't think there's anything that's telling me it's here. Ah, I see what I've seen something that I can do. Box 4 I think is interesting because these two squares, whether this was 2, 3 or 1, 4, we know what the x's will be. Now, this square, yeah, let me show you. What on earth do we put in this square? This is the question that we're going to have, because we know that this will be a 2, 3 pair in this version. If it doesn't matter. If it was the other way around, it would be a 1, 4 pair, and there would be a 7, 8 pair here. But the critical thing is in this box, we've got to put a 7 and an 8. And what we cannot do is put that digit here. Because if we put an 8 or a 7 here, it will be next to its friend, and there would need to be an x. So that doesn't work. This square has to not be 7 or 8. So what can it be? The only thing it can be is 5. Now, yeah, this is right. Now we're off and running. 5 in this box. Where does it go? It cannot go on the x because it would have to double 5. So the 5 goes here. Now the 5 in the central box goes here on the dot. So this square is now a 6. And that's forced. That's nothing to do with my placeholdings on all these squares, which I might have to get rid of soon. Let's just... No, I'm not getting rid of them yet. Let's think about this, because surely this has 2 low digits on it. Oh, in fact, it's better than that. This has... It does have 2 low digits on it, because it's got to be a 2, 4 pair, because the 5's in the column. Now this is where I do have to be careful though, because what I can't do is, I can't say, okay, this is a 1 or a 4, and therefore it's next. If it was a 4, it would be broken, and therefore it has to be a 1, because that's relying on this being a 2, 3, which is not correct. This could be a 1, 4. Oh, but I tell you one thing. I'm saying that, but that's not correct, is it? Let's take it back to being more straightforward. This 6 is actually disambiguating all of the... Right, yeah, I see what's going on. Sorry, being slow. Let's come back here. Now, we have proved this is a 2, 4 domino. We can also say with certainty this is not a 4. If this is a 4, it's next to a 6 and there should be an x, and there isn't. So what digit is this? That's a 2 and that's a 4, and look what that's going to do. So I was wrong actually, because this is not a 2, 3 pair. This is a 1, 4 pair now, because it can't be a 2, 3 pair, which means this is a 2, 3 pair. This is a 1, 4. This is a 1, 4. And I think this might propagate throughout the puzzle. Maybe. That's a 1, 4. Now. Yeah, let's change those as well, because I forgot to delete those. I was wondering how on earth I'd managed to connect a 6, 9 to a 2, 3, but that's because those were my placeholders. So these two squares are 7 and 8, and these two squares are 6 and 9. Now, what do we do next then? Do we know what that domino... I think I did know what this domino was. Yes, I do. It's a 1, 4 domino. And that's lovely because I can't put the 4 next to the 6. So that goes 1, 4 like this. This 1 is on an X, so that becomes a 9. 9 has to live in one of those cells in box 3. No. I was about to say this domino can be done, but it can't. This 4 is fixing the 4s and the 1s over here. Now, okay. So, have we got any easy deductions to make from this point? I've got to keep in mind the negative constraint, or I'm going to struggle, aren't I? We know that this is a 2 or a 3 now, so we know that this is a 7 or an 8 now, and now I've got actually quite a lot of real estate filled in row 4. That domino is a 5, 9 to complete the row, and we can't put 1 next to 9 unless there's an X, so we actually know the order of this, which doesn't resolve that. But it does. Oh no, it doesn't even tell us where the 5 goes. Look, bother. Okay. Yeah, so this is a 2, 3, 7, 8 type arrangement. How am I going to disambiguate the rest of these 2s, 3s, 7s, and 8s? It's going to be through the medium of magic. Where does the magic happen? That's the question. I think I'm starting to feel very, very simple here. Simple Simon. Oh, that 4's giving me some joy. Sorry, 4 and 1 go in there. Now this can't be a 9 because the negative constraint is telling us that this should have an X between us. So we get the 9 in the corner. 9 is in one of those 3 squares. Now it can't be here, because if it's here, that would be a 1, which it can't be. So the 9 is pushed a bit further down. 1 is in one of those 3 squares. 4 is in one of these squares. This square's a 6 using the power of X. So these 3 squares are 5, 7, and 8. Let's just have a look at that and see if we can do anything useful with it. I mean, we've got to be a bit careful with connecting the 7s and the 8s with the 2s and 3s. But, right, so those 2 squares have got to be 6 and 3. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, I can see that the 2 can't go next to the 3 because there would be a V between them. So 6 and 3 go in. Oh, I was sure that was going to give me something in the vertical plane, but no. You rotten thing. Okay. So 2, oh no, this is not, I don't know what to do. Come on. 1, I think. 1 is a little bit restricted. It's got to be up there, one of those 2 squares, but which, yeah, of course. Then it can't go next to the 4, so the 1 gets placed. So 9 is in one of these 3 cells. And we have to work out something else to do. And it's almost certainly going to be the negative constraint, which I'm almost certainly going to be missing something simple in relation to. Now we know this has got a 2, 3, 7. I suppose the options for this are 2, 3, 7, and 8. So that forms a quadruple. Along with the 1, 4, we know the rest of this column, therefore, is 5, 6s, and 9. So there's a 5 in the corner at the top, because that can't be a 6 or a 9. So this is 6 or 9, and this is 6 or 9. Now, I can see that we're going to have to be careful with this linkage here, because it's possible to create an X, which I can't do. But until I know the order of the 1s and 4s, I don't think I know what this is. 5 is in one of those 2 cells. Still not got any joy up there. This can't be 7. For what it's worth, it would be next to the 3. 7 is in one of 3 cells. Not useful. Okay. Do I know anything about the other orange cell in this box? I don't think so. This is 2, 3, 7 or 8. Do I know anything about those? Again, I don't think I do. I know there's a 6 down here, and I know the 6 is in one of those 2 squares. Not helpful. Wow. Wow. This can't be a 1. It would put a 9 here, so that doesn't work. I am stuck. Right, think, Simon. What is it we're being asked to do here? It's got to be a 9 in one of those 3 squares. Again, I can see it's in one of those 2, but I don't think I know which one it's in. There's got to be a 5 in one of those that can't go with the X, so the 5 is in this domino. 5 down. Ah, that's a little... Yeah, here we go. We can do some magic with 5s. 5 can't go there. It definitely can't go on the X. So 5 is in one of 4 places in box 9, but critically, it's not in the bottom row. It's also not in the bottom row in box 7. So we've got to put a 5 in the bottom row, and it's going to have to be in one of those 3 squares. Well, it can't be on the X, and it can't be there. So that's a 5, which gets the 5 done in box 2. Now let's have a look up here now where we need 3s, 7s and 8s and see. Yes. Yeah, I've got to keep the 3 and the 7 apart. So the 8 is going to have to do work and play gooseberry and stop the naughty 3 and 7s getting too close to each other. And now the 2, 3 is nice. Beautiful. Good grief. I mean, this is really being put together with skill, hasn't it? Now that's a 2, 7 pair. And no, so I was about to say that means something useful here, but it doesn't seem to. I've got to put in an 8, a 6 and a 9, and unfortunately those digits are all too high to be interesting. 8, 6 and 9. Is there something about the negative constraint I can do with that? There... I don't know. There probably is. I'm just not understanding what it is. Let's look at this column. 2s, 3s and 6s. So we'll fill... Oh, whoopsie. We'll fill in the options and see what we can do. We can get rid of 6 from this square. So this is a 2 or a 3. I'll shade it orange just for the sake of good order. These are 7, 8 and 9. Yeah, here we go. We've got in this column, a simple thing to have said would be we've got to keep the 2 and the 3 apart. So the 6 plays gooseberry this time. And this 6, is it going to do any magic? Yes, it is doing magic, because where can we not put the 6 in box 9? On the domino, because it will need a 4, which it can't have. Good grief. So there's a 6 in one of those 2 squares, which doesn't do anything. No, it doesn't do anything. There's a 6 in one of those 3 squares. Okay, but at least we got a little bit of progress there. Now, we've got to put a 2 or a 3 in row 6. So whatever this isn't, we've got to put the 2 or 3. Now, it can't go there, because it will be next to its friend if it's there, and there's no V between them. So that's one of those 2 is the orange square. And if one of those 2 is orange and one of those 2 is orange, that square is definitely blue. It's not 5, we can see that. So this square has got to be 6, 7 or 8, no, 7 or 8, which means this square is 2 or 3, so it's not 4. Does that mean I've got a 4-9 pair here? Yes, it does seem to, doesn't it? Okay, I'll take that. That's a 4-9 pair. I don't think we know how to resolve it. So this has got to be 2, 3, 7 or 8. Okay. Where shall we look now? Maybe this column? 1s, 7s, 8s and 9s. I really don't like the... It doesn't feel like that's going to be helpful. It must, this 3. There you go. Sorry, I didn't spot it. But that's 8 and that's 7. It's going to be interesting to hear in the comments, assuming I can solve this, whether people have found dealing with the negative constraint easy or hard. Look, this is actually going a bit better all of a sudden again. Because, what did I see? I saw something here as well. What was it? I just saw something that used the negative constraint. Oh, yeah, I think it was this 2. That's got to be a 9 then. This has got to be an 8. That gives us 7 here, which makes this square a 3. Now we now know that that is a 2-8 pair. And we've got to keep that away from 3s. Can't quite see how to do that. And this must be a 3-6 pair, and that's lovely because the 7 can't go next to the 3. So that's a 3, that's a 6. That seems to be a 6 using our pencil marks. We get the 3 and the 2. 2 and 3 are ruled out of this square, so that they must be in this one. And there's a 3 at the top, so that gets the 2 and the 8 done. This square's got to be 5 or 7, and the 3 tells us the order. Good lord. 8, 5 all go in. That gets the 8 and the 2 done. Those 2 squares now are 1 and 7. And look, this 3 is still doing work. 7, 1. So let's tidy up some pencil marks over on this side and see if we can keep going. We've got this 2, yeah, that's doing some stuff. This 3 is doing some stuff. And yeah, nearly, but not quite, it seems. Oh no, here we go, another total impasse. That's, now we've got a 9 here. Sorry, I didn't spot that. So this, unfortunately, the negative constraint doesn't seem useful with a 1, 7, 8 triple. What about this column then? We need 2, 4 and 9 into those squares. 2, 4 and 9. We can't put 2 here. So this square is 1 or 6 to go with the 4 or the 9. See, oh, there's a 4, 9 pair in the bottom row, so that becomes a 6. That becomes a 9. This 8 now takes a bit more potency than it did have. 6s and 9s go in. This now has to be a 1. Therefore, that's a 9, that's a 9, that's a 4, and I think we are actually on the home straight now. It does suddenly seem to have tripped over itself, doesn't it? That can't be a 2. That should be a 3. That can't be a 2, so that must be 2. That must be 4. 8 and 2 go in over here. This square is something, a 3, I think. That 1, 4 is all dealt with, look. Down this column we need 5s and 7s, which we can do. And in this box we need 4 and 9, which also looks like it's working. So I think that is the correct solution. That's just a very, very clever puzzle. It really is. The use of the negative constraint is unusual and devious and, yeah, just stunningly clever. I mean, even at the start, noting things like these had to be separated. And where was the other cell? I saw that cell, I think, was the first one I saw. All leading into getting a 6 here, which disambiguates all the low digits because it forces 2, 4 on the arrow, and you can't put 4 next to 6. I mean, the whole puzzle, I think, has been built around that idea. And it's just superb, absolutely superb. So take a bow, BMEP, and I'm very sorry we didn't cover this several months ago. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments how you got on, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.